Okay, and welcome to video 3 of the Adobe Premiere Pro CC tutorials. This one I'm going to teach you some of the basics of the video editing, and all the video editing happens over here, down here in this screen. If you didn't watch my first and second video, I highly recommend that because it takes you through step by step what you need to learn one step at a time. So in this case, we had already imported file to import, and we imported this video that was in video 2. So now we're at this point, and now I want to import another video file so I can teach you about layers and things like that. So let me just get another one of these videos. Let's go down a little further here. Ghost cards. Okay, that one's a different contrasting. Now, remember when we did the new sequence from clip to get it to come over here, now because we did that, like I said, you can just drag the video over. So right away, I want to trim that video because I just want to work with smaller videos for this demonstration. So what I'm going to do is just do the razor tool and select anywhere I want, and then go back to the arrow and then right click and clear. Okay. I actually should show you right now how to ripple delete and what that means. So let's say I make, I'll go back to the arrow. And remember, every time you do a razor tool, a splice like this, a slice, you, you have to, uh, you have to go back to the arrow up here to go back to the normal version of being able to select things and delete them and stuff. So now we've cut up this video in 3 places. So say I had a whole, like say I bring another video in here, and let's do a couple more razor tool here, like one there, and then go back to here and clear that. So in the sense, say I have a lot of other, it goes way down. My video editing has all these layers and all these different video clips and stuff that I brought in, and so let's say I wanted to delete this one here. If I select it and then right click it and say clear right here, it just gets rid of it, but it doesn't move all this over. Because if it's really long and you have lots of video edits, imagine having to move one over individually, every single one, all the way down the line. So in this case, and you can remember, you can always do edit to undo and go back to previous version. So I'm going to go back to here, no, one more, right here where I deleted this one. But now if I right click and I say ripple delete instead of clear, look what it does. Boom, it moves the other ones back over to the side. Now this saves so much time. What a handy tool to learn about. So like I'll do it one more time, instead of deleting it with clear and having it just be deleted there, which can come into purpose sometimes, you may want to use that, but instead, if I go to undo and I just go to right click again and then ripple delete, it just moves everything else over. So really handy to know about. And then let's say now I want to work with layers. So each one of these, you see V1, V2, V3, those are video layers, okay? So the ones that are on top of the other ones, say I move this one up here. Oh, and by the way, you want to make sure the audios are never going over each other. So you move both out and then you move it over like that. Now it'll essentially play both videos.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So how are you?
Be very confusing because there's 2 videos playing with the audio still playing. So if you want only this audio to play here, oh, by the way, this is audio 1, audio 2, and audio 3. And you can toggle this by going up and down. So you can work with more layers, and you can do more than 3 as well. You can have lots. But it's not, it also, one other thing to keep in mind is I always have mine set to fit right here. That way, when you toggle this, it automatically sizes the video. Whereas if you have to size the video by yourself, like 50%, see, even that, 25% it shows. But then when you move it, it just cuts it off. So that's a really cool tip too, is just fit right here to size. And then when you toggle this, it'll automatically resize. That way you can work with your layers down here. But in this case, I want to delete this audio from this video track because they sound really bad when they're playing at the same time. So what I do is I lock right here. This is the lock button and unlock. I lock the video because I want the video to play still. So I lock it from being deleted. Then I right click the audio and I say clear. Okay. And then I unlock again from lock. When it's locked, you can see it grayed out, and it's also shaded here. So you unlock it, and now when I play it,
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you?
well, actually that doesn't work good because it's the wrong video for the wrong audio. You want the video to match the audio. So in a way,
Hello, ladies and
this didn't do anything. It just brought a video here, but it's being played in the background. So the only way that comes into use is if you want to do what's called a video opacity, a video blending. So how we do that is we select this video here on the top, and we do it by double clicking it. It brings it up into this panel, okay? And then you can go up here to, if it's not showing up here, it should say effects, something effects like similar to this one down here. Then what you do is you go here and you close the panel, and now effects control is there. So that's a troubleshooter for if you can't see the effects control, okay? And then what you do is you go to opacity here and you move this down, say to 50. Now it's going to be really cool because both videos are playing at the same time, like this.
hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are
So
you
for
today? I
certain
hope you're
effects,
doing good.
opacity effects,
Today on Instant.
you could do some really cool stuff with that, and I have done a lot of cool stuff with that. So you can work with opacity, and you can even work with, like, say, 3 layers. But remember, if I just drag this over now, it'll place this audio on this audio, and it'll mess up the video. So you have to always move it down and move that one up to go to the next layer, move it over, and then see, now this one will just play over top because it doesn't have opacity on the top layer. This is the top layer. This is the one that shows. So I could just say delete these ones if I wanted. I could clear those, or I can move them over here, and now I'll show you some other effects. Like, one thing I want to show you is how to add, like, say, a title at the beginning of the video or the end or anywhere in between. Is you go up here to title. First, you move this thing right here to where you want the title to be. Then you select title, new title, default still, and then just press OK. That's all you need to do. And then now it's on right here. As long as this is on the text tool right here, then you can select any of these fonts here. Let's say I'm going to do this cool blue one right here. Then if that's on the text, I can click here, and now I can type, "This is a test." Okay, and now I could go back to the arrow, just like in the other window. You have to go back to the arrow. Then you can size it when you have the arrow up here. When you just have the text, all you can do is select the text and change the font. Okay, but then if you select the arrow, now you can move the size of it like this. Okay, and what you can also do is, say you want this to go just, I don't know, for test sakes right there, but you can't really read it that well. What you can do is, a little trick you can do is you can go to the arrow and then select the text and right click it and say copy, and then right click it and say paste. Now look how much more easy that is to read, because that is essentially 2 of them. Now we copied and paste them. You can also use the copy and paste to create the second text, and then highlight it, and then change, say you want a different font, like, I don't know, this one, okay? Then you can do that, and you can go back to the arrow as well, and you can also resize it. So that comes into handy. Then this in itself is not all you have to do to get the text up there. You also, once you're happy with where it is, you come up here to the X right here. Now that's kind of counterintuitive because you wouldn't normally go up to the exit out, you'd be like, why didn't you save it? But you exit out, and then it appears down here in your import, your video import. These are when you import videos. Then you drag it over to where you want it, and of course, you can resize it, and you can move up this up a little bit so you're working with it better. But you can have the title go across the whole video if you want. You could just have the beginning about that much, a few seconds. And then, so if I play it now, you see, it's not that good because
Welcome.
here, actually, the sound wasn't there.
Well, hey there, guys. I
So
hope
you
you're
see,
having a
there's nothing fancy about that. But if you want it to be more fancy and you do a transition, you click you when this thing shows the little red arrow with the flat thing like that on the corner, you left click it, then you go to sequence and you go to apply video transition. And then now look what it does. It's way more cool because now when you play it, it
Well, hey
fades
there, guys. I
in.
hope you're having a good.
Now it won't fade out unless you click that side of it and then go to sequence and video transition. Now you can see the transitions, but you can also click on the transition itself and set the duration of the transition. Like if you want it to fade 2 seconds instead of 1 second, by default it's 1 second, and that works good for most cases, but you may want to change that and you can there. Okay. And then now it'll fade in and fade out. Okay,
Well,
so
hey
it
there,
goes
guys. I
there
hope you're having a good
and
day.
then
Welcome to
fade
another
out like
episode.
that. Okay, so you can apply that on any video. Like, say, here's a video here, this transition from here, from there to the other video. You can just apply a video transition here and another video transition there, and now it'll really nicely fade
What I'm gonna
away.
do is I'm gonna take the blue one here. Hello, ladies and place gentlemen. It like How this and today?
Hold on a
Do
second.
is I'm gonna take the blue one here. Hello, and I'm
Okay.
gonna place it.
So that doesn't go good because the music, see the music is playing on this one. So actually I shouldn't have moved that over just like that. And then you would also want to apply an audio transition because these are different audios. That way, I mean it may not sound good in this case because I didn't line them up to the certain music sounds or whatever. But see, there's the video transition and the same place sequence. There is the audio transition, and that will fade out and fade in the audio, which comes into handy for sure as well. And you can do that at the end of the video, and the audio transition. So when I make a video, I have a lot of different transitions with just the simple fade in. That's very cinematic kind of material where, like Hollywood movies just use mostly the fade in, fade out. They don't do any cheesy like windows opening and things like that. I mean, if you like that style, it's up to you. But me personally, I like the fade in, fade out. So I really like to use the video transition and sometimes the audio transition as well. Also, if you wanted a title to come in like later, like and if you want to edit a title, you just come over here where the title is and you double click it and it'll bring it back up here if you want to edit it or change something. Like maybe I want this over here, but then I want something to come up over here, not at the same time as these, which is more complicated and amazing. So I'll show you how to do that. So say I'm happy with that there. And of course, it's got the fade in, right? It's got the nice fade in, fade out. But say halfway right there, I wanted a new title to fade in separate from those ones. Then I would go to default still again, title, default still, and then just press OK. And then just put in my new font. Let's say I'll just go with a white one this time. Go to the text tool, click in here, and then type. Just this is a test. I just make it easy. Okay, this is a test, and then I can select the arrow and say I want to move that over here, or say this is like a .com or something, a domain that I want to also have flash in there at the last second. So now I got that one, and I'm going to exit out like before, and then I have to bring it over again, just like the other one. And I'm going to move this up a little bit over here. And then I'm going to move it over And then right here, I'm going to do a video transition and a video transition. Now, because this is lined up at the same time, they'll just
Well,
fade
hey
in
there,
at the
guys. I
same
hope you're
time
having a
like
good.
that. But if I put this to say halfway right there, then I can slide this over like that. And now it'll play like this.
Well, hey there,
Those
guys. I
ones
hope
fade
you're
in,
having a good
and then
day.
this one fades in
Welcome to
later,
another
which is
episode.
a nice touch too. And then they fade away all together at the same time. So that's pretty much where I'm going to end this video. It's kind of gone on and on about things I necessarily wasn't going to talk about, but I felt like I wanted to. So I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe to my channel, and you'll learn especially about Photoshop and Adobe Premiere video editing. Tons of tutorials. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.